Welcome back to Aftermath. It's been a pretty long week. There's a bunch of stuff to talk about. There's been 3 games since our last episode. I think we're going to focus on the league game. There's not much point in focusing too heavily on the Carabao Cup at this stage after what happened last night. But we will cover them. So we'll start with the Lincoln game. Just breeze over it. I thought we could mention any standout performances. So I'll go first. I wanted to quickly mention Minamino and Curtis Jones. Thought both of them had a great game. Obviously 2 goals each for them. Both the Curtis's in particular, phenomenal goals that he put away. And Minamino, I think probably due a league start at some point. He's been on phenomenal form since the restart, and yeah, I'd like to see him get some time with a full starting 11.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's due after that game.
I agree. My 2 standout performances, I thought Minamino, I mean, granted, I fully understand it was against Lincoln and it was in the cup, so I don't want to, say like he's set the world on fire in that game. But
the next Messi.
But he was definitely a standout performer. I thought like his play in that game was absolutely excellent. So was Curtis. I thought, to be fair, for the team that was put together, a team that's probably not used to playing together much, vastly inexperienced compared to the main 11 that Liverpool tend to put out. I thought like they did a phenomenal job and worked really well. Scored a hell of a lot of goals, some very, very impressive goals. Bit of shame about the defending after Van Dijk went off. I feel like could have done better with the 2 goals that they conceded. But
although definitely some defensive mistakes, because Adrian actually had a hell of a game.
Yeah, I feel like he was caught out. I think for maybe the second one, maybe he was caught in a bit of no man's land. I feel like he could have done better with both of the goals, but for most part, he actually did well. And I thought in the second game that we don't really want to talk about, I thought like he actually had an outstanding game against Arsenal for most part, which is a shame. But yeah, all good. Good to give some of them time. Minamino got a lot of good time, a lot of confidence for him. Hopefully, confidence for Curtis Jones too. So hopefully they can take something from that.
Yeah, mine's pretty much the same. I just also want to throw in credit to Tsimikas in the Lincoln game as well, because even though he didn't like score or assist any, he looked pretty spot
on. Always good. It's a shame he was out yesterday, but hopefully he'll be back in the squad soon, because we do really need that left back cover.
Yeah, why was he out, by the way? Was that an injury?
He picked up an injury in the Lincoln game.
Not a great time, but yeah, he did play well, and he looked very attacking as well, sort of very Robbo light, which is good to see. He was up there a lot, putting in crosses into the box and stuff, so he's not afraid to get up there. And probably worth shouting out Shaqiri as well. Not sure how long he's going to be around.
Oh god, yeah.
There are rumblings of him moving away, but amazing free kick.
Yeah, brilliant.
Well,
couldn't ask for like a better one.
It's a shame, because when he plays, he can be quite good. I mean, he is a talent.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like there's more going on with Shaqiri than what we all see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's odd. It's an odd situation.
But wherever he goes, if he does go, I hope he gets the game time he deserves, because he's a good player. And if he does go, I wish him well and would understand why he would leave. So, yeah, I feel like, Lincoln, absolutely solid. I mean, I thought, like, for the team that went out, an incredible result, so well done to them. But I guess that team was put out mainly so a good team could go up against Arsenal in the league.
Yep. Jake, do you have our score predictions and stuff? Because I don't remember
them. Somewhere. Come back to me.
Okay, well, I guess, should we start by discussing the lineup for the Arsenal game?
Yes, I'll have to look at the lineup, but
it was okay. I'll go through it.
Take us through it.
Alisson in goal, as always.
Yeah.
It was the usual back 4: Van Dijk, Gomez, Robbo, and Trent. And then we had in midfield Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Keita, and the usual 3 up front. So
I feel like it was pretty much as
Pretty
expected.
standard.
Yeah, because granted with, was it Hendo out, Thiago having the Rona, and Ox obviously a long-term absentee. I feel like there weren't many other midfield options. Obviously, like Curtis could play if needed, and Milner could play. But I feel like it was definitely the most obvious midfield after that came to mind based on the available players. But as a solid team, no complaints. That would have been the team that I would have put out. If you ask me,
It was also the return of Joe Gomez, because previously we had Fabinho there, didn't we?
Yeah, he did have a minor injury the match before. I have now actually got our predictions here. So my prediction was Ali in goal. I expected Gomez to be back. Virgil van Dijk, Trent, Robbo, usual. I expected Ginny, Keita, and Fab in the sort of midfield / CDM role, and obviously the usual forward three. James, you predicted Ali in goal, Trent, Robbo, Virgil van Dijk, Fabinho if Gomez wasn't there. You expected Ginny if Hendo wasn't there, and Thiago otherwise. And then just the usual forward three, and Keita as well, obviously.
Scores?
I predicted 2-0 for Salah and Minamino. And you predicted 2-1 for Salah and Mane.
Damn it. I could have sworn I predicted 3-1. What a shame. So still no points.
I think you predicted 3-1 for the Carabao game.
It's FishStakes in a nutshell, right there.
That is FishStakes in a nutshell. Because I predicted 4-1 for the Cup and you predicted 3-1 for the Cup. But we didn't go into goal scorers for that.
Run a play. I want to start off by talking about something that happened 3 minutes in, and that was Sadio Mane picked up a yellow card. Opinions on what happened there?
Even before he picked up the yellow, he looked thirsty for blood. Like, he made a challenge on someone a little bit earlier, and I was like, he needs to watch what he's doing. Like, that was risky. He's lucky he didn't get a yellow or anything from that. And then, like, a minute later, he does it again. Just whacks someone in the face. I'm like, Mane, calm it. Chill. It's 3 minutes.
I felt like I wish I knew, because I think I missed it, and I messaged both of you going, "What's going on here?" Like, but he seemed to be quite aggro. Yeah, it was he seemed a bit worked up. I was just like, "Oh crikey!" And I feel like he put in another tackle. I think at some point later on in the half, and I'm just like, "You have to watch it." And thankfully, he calmed down.
To be honest, I was really worried. Like, I don't think it was intentional. I mean, he basically elbowed him in the face. I think he didn't realise how close he was, maybe. I think it was more he was trying to stiff arm the defender, but didn't realise how close he was. Ended up elbowing him in the face. But honestly, looking at it, especially in slow motion, like, I was worried. I was expecting... Like, if he'd have got a red for that, I wouldn't have been surprised, to put it that way. So, like, I think he got very, very lucky there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how challenges and fouls like that would usually work. Like, I don't know if that was any other team, if it would work any different, and how often it would be different. But I mean, I did expect. No, I get that. I get that. But would any other team usually on a typical day, if they'd done the same thing, would they be given a red? I don't know, but I expected at least a yellow. So. It obviously was a bad challenge.
Stuff like that comes down to the referee and the fact it was 3 minutes in and whether you believe it was intended or not, which honestly think he probably got away with not getting a red because it wasn't intended. But, like, yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me. Like,
I mean, sometimes...
definitely been other referees on other days that would have given that a red, I would say.
Like, sometimes these things happen early game and then the ref's just like, if you give out a red that early on, it, like, dramatically changes, like, the whole game. And like sometimes refs can be like a bit more forgiving, where it's just like, right, to start the game, pack it in, otherwise you're off, type thing.
Yeah.
Which I can I can understand because it really would have ruined the game from Liverpool's point of view, moving a man down straight off the bat.
Mm.
But I feel like it was okay. Like if it was a red, I couldn't have complained. But I also feel like I wouldn't say it was outright vicious, but it.
No, like I don't think it was intended. It was just very dangerous. Yeah, and as Jake said, it wasn't the only like heavy challenge he put in. So I don't know. Needs to be careful.
It wasn't the
coolest
last
gets a little
either.
bit.
There was another one where I started to get worried that
Yeah.
he was going to pick up the red after that.
Then
yeah.
good old. Are we coming to Scottish slice and dice?
Yeah, so what was it? 25 minutes in.
All calm.
Lacazette with the opening goal for Arsenal.
I feel like this is very reminiscent of when Liverpool lost to Arsenal after the restart, after they'd won the league.
Yep.
It was pretty much by that point, it was like Liverpool looked largely in control. It was mostly Liverpool. Arsenal hadn't really had much of a look in.
I think we had a few decent chances as well within their first goal. And
it was
just
quite
got very
comfortably Liverpool at this point. And then
It
it was
looked
just
like the beginning half of the Chelsea game.
Yeah, the ball came in. It's just like, all right, clear it, Robbo. Awful slice, which happened to fell to Lacazette, who was way offside, but because it came off Robbo, it was fine. Yeah. So he shouldn't have been there effectively anyway, which is unfortunate because, like, if he got... And then he mishit it himself, but by mishitting it wrong-footed Alisson because it bounced off the floor, because otherwise, like, if he just hit it as intended, it probably would have been saved.
Yeah.
But, and that was...
I think it hit his foot on an angle where it bounced down and then over Ali, whereas he was expecting the shot to go sort of straight for him. But he did make a decent attempt. He got fingers on it, but he fell to the floor.
I mean, he was going down. He was on his way down to save it, and when it bounced back up, there's no way he was getting up.
It was a decent attempt.
It just very slowly went over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, mad. But weirdly, we were saying before this game, because I mentioned that last time we played them, went with the two mistakes from Alisson and then Van Dijk, and I think it was you, Craig, said like, well, we should be fine as long as we're not sloppy at the back, and then that happened.
Yep, yeah.
It was almost exactly what we were expecting. Yeah,
there's some sort of like thing inside Liverpool's head, like, right, we're playing Arsenal, someone's gonna have a right clanger at some point here. Just like, who's it gonna be? And I guess Robbo drew the short straw, but but at least it wasn't two mistakes, and at least it didn't cost us the game. Because
it's also one of them where like 9 out of 10 times he's clearing that, and that was the one time where he didn't, and it resulted in a goal.
I think it was just because he was expecting Veg to get his foot on it, and it just missed it, and it rolled to him, and he had to.
No, they would have cleared it, and then normally. Also, they probably wouldn't have had a striker there because normally,
he was offside.
There was no point in being that far offside because like that's that's a hell of a fluky coincidence.
Just a series of unfortunate events.
Indeed,
but it is what it is.
Lemony Robbo's series.
It wasn't long after that we replied. So
replied indeed. I think from the top of my head, it was it Firmino had it to start off with, and then he unleashed Salah, maybe.
Yeah. So it was Firmino to Salah on the right, who put the ball past Tierney and then ran past him and somehow got on the other side of him to receive the ball and cut it back inside the box, and then I think it was just straight across the box to Mane for a tap in.
Didn't he? I'm trying to think. Did he ever? Was it a save? Did Salah take the shot on and then like Mane got the?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like maybe the goalkeeper got a hand to it and then like Mane just basically
he punched it away and it fell
into an empty net.
Well, he punched it up and it just fell to Mane, and he just tapped it in the right direction.
All credit to Mane for being in the right position because you got to be there to score them. But what a play by Salah! Like he had no business getting around Tierney like that. Like that's superhuman.
He's
put
really
a
good
ball
at that.
past someone and then go around them before they get there.
He is really good at that, but I don't know. I always think, like, looking at that, do you not think Tierney kind of gives up very easily? He probably doesn't want to foul because he pulls his hand up as if he's gonna, like, to say I'm not gonna touch him because he's in the box now. But it looks like he just runs after him, grazes him slightly, and just throws his hands up in the air as soon as he's in the box.
He's like,
like if I was an Arsenal supporter, I'd be like fuming at how easy he just gave up.
Maybe he's just like, it's Salah. Ain't stopping him.
I mean,
it could be, but I don't know. I'd still be
very fast. Like,
I'd still be like, yeah, boy. Well, I don't even think it was like. I don't think Salah did much apart from the actual play to get around him. Like there was no contact from Salah to Tierney. Tierney just stops and runs off. Like if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be fuming with him.
I mean, I'd have to watch that again, but everything I seen of it, I was just blown away by like Salah's ability.
I'm not taking anything away from Salah. He made an amazing play. He dribbled around him, but like after that, Tierney just gave up. He didn't want to chase him down or anything.
I mean, you're not catching Mo Salah. You're not catching Sadio Mane either. I mean,
I don't know. I just think with the amount of players that were in their box, as well as like he could have worked on it like a shutting him down move, but he just didn't. He just gave up. Like brilliant play from Salah, and he took the advantage. He took the position perfectly. But I'd have been fuming at Tierney if he was our defender. If I was an Arsenal fan.
I mean, it's fair, but I will say I don't think there's many defenders in the league that, if any, that are faster than Mane or Salah, to be honest.
I doubt that. I'm just talking about the motivation to try.
Gotta go real fast.
Mm.
But yeah, I agree. I think Salah, despite not scoring, really showed his class.
Ability.
Yeah, I think he has done since the league has restarted.
Yeah, he's looked. Well, he's looked
quiet.
Salah.
Yeah, like after the restart, he was fairly quiet, and pre-season he was fairly quiet. But then since the league has kicked off again, I don't know. It's just because he actually has something to play for again. But like, he's been.
The only thing I'd want to change is I'd like to see him get goals from it. Like I know that's not his to control, but
I mean he will.
Well, yeah, I hope so. I don't want to jinx it by saying he will, but like seeing that, I think like I would have loved if he got the goal rather than Mane. Like not taking off Mane, he put himself in a perfect position, but he put in that much effort and he didn't even get it. It's like, oh, damn it.
But that's Salah's MO. I think at the moment he has registered the most shots out of anyone in the league. I think Calvert-Lewin is second, amazingly. But I feel like that's just how Salah plays. Like he takes so many shots per game, and they don't always work out. But he's a numbers guy. He's like, keep shooting, and eventually they're gonna go in. And he's been Liverpool's top scorer 3 years running. So it works. But yeah, I just think that's his game. It's like, I mean, sometimes people are quite critical of him for losing possession and stuff because he takes wild chances sometimes. But like the number of chances he takes, that's gonna happen from time to time. Like you don't see Mane lose possession as much as Salah, but Mane does not have anywhere near the same amount of registered shots as Salah does. So it's a balance, but the goals will come. He's not gonna score every time he hits the ball, but they're gonna come.
And then, so got one back, got it level. I mean, it all happened so quickly. Back. It was like Arsenal don't fancy it, do they? So I think, what was it like? Yeah, so Arsenal scored on the 25th minute. Super quick turnaround on the 28th minute. I think Sadio Mane tapped it in, and then about just over 5 minutes later, our boy Trent, assist king, down the wing, I think.
Assisting down the wing.
Crosses it in, and I think when I was like, granted, you were ahead of me, so I knew it was coming, but like I saw it come in, and I thought, like, I feel like it passed a few players in the box, and then like Robbo just appears out of nowhere in space, and it's so strange to see like Robbo get on the end of the ball and be like the furthest man forward and like be like 1-on-1 with a goalkeeper because like anything could happen. And then it came to him. he got his foot to it, and it was a lovely little deft flick just over the goalkeeper. He just got like what he needed on it to get it past above and past the goalkeeper.
It wasn't an easy chance either for like, especially for someone who's not a natural striker as well. Definitely an easy one to mess up. Either hit it right at the keeper or
the keeper was like
hit it wide trying to get it over
in front of him as
whatever.
well, so easy to get
That's
that pressure.
I mean, that doesn't make it easy. Yeah. And you don't have the time, and you got to control it in that short space of time and put it away. But he did it, so fair play to him. He redeemed himself for his mistake at the other end, and got us ahead. How much of the fact that he made that mistake do you think had to do with it? Like, do you think it was just determination to make up for it?
Or... I mean,
not from the initial run. I think when he got himself towards their box and he saw that there was a bit of a scramble and the ball was going to fall to him, I think he was like, all right, okay, this is my chance to calmly try and tap it in, don't overthink it, slot it in, and then mistakes forgiven.
I feel like he was getting further forward, and then his mistake was still fresh in his mind. He saw Trent was about to cross it in, and then in his head he was singing, "This is my moment," and it charged straight into the box. And he's like, "This is it. I've got this." And I feel like you can maybe tell by his reaction he was a very happy man to have made amends.
Yeah, he would have been relieved.
He talked about it in the post-game interview.
Almost as relieved as Eric Dyer was at half-time.
Oh my god. This isn't a Tottenham podcast. At least not this week.
Anyone wants to join Eric Dyer's poo-cast? It's
Yeah, Aubameyang will join that.
I don't know about Aubameyang. Why is he? Is he on the
Last season, I don't remember who they were playing, but last season, he went off in the middle of the game to have a poo. No one knew why. He just walked off the pitch, and everyone was like, "Where's Aubameyang gone?" And he came back like 5 minutes later, rejoined the game, and scored twice.
Oh, well.
Mad.
But back to Liverpool and Arsenal.
You're back on point.
Right, where were we? Robbo's goal.
I was
going to say something. I was going to say something about it, and I've completely forgotten it.
Your man's on poo.
Well, I mean, very importantly, that took us into a 2-1 half-time lead.
All right. I'll tell you what it was. I was going to mention. I feel like every single one of Liverpool's players, regardless of their position, is dangerous. And I don't know if that's something as a recruiting stance we've been looking for in players to when we sign, obviously we've got the two fullbacks, but both of them are constantly they are our attacking force. They're constantly putting in crosses into the box. Trent's capable of scoring from a free kick. We've seen Robbo get a goal there, but it's not just the goals. The crosses that they put in lead to so many of our goals. Obviously, the front three are all dangerous, but then if you look at Van Dijk, so often Van Dijk will put the ball over the top, right in Salah's feet, or Mane on the other side. Gomez the same. Van Dijk, huge aerial threat as well. Everyone in midfield, Hendo, Fabinho's got those long strikes on him. Wijnaldum, we've seen him get goals now and again, and you look at when he plays for the Netherlands, he's getting goals. I feel like every single position, even Alisson, remember that assist right over the top to Salah in the United game? Yeah. I feel like every single player we have has the ability to play that final ball. It's I don't know if that's a trait we've been looking for, but it's whatever their position is, whatever they're expected to do, it's also, are you capable of playing a final ball or being dangerous regardless of position, which is awesome. I just feel like at the moment, the team we've got, we're capable of creating chances from literally anywhere on the field.
Well, I guess. It's a very good skill to have and a very good thing to have in the locker because they can't mark everyone.
And also on that, with the addition of Thiago, I think
that's what I was
as you say, everyone is dangerous, and obviously some more than others. But with the in our midfield, some are dangerous, but some are more dangerous in a sort of a defensive way. But the addition of Thiago,
saying that, I assume you're talking about Fabinho.
Yeah,
but Fabinho's also got that. Obviously, he's a world-class defensive midfield, but then he's got those long shots in his back pocket that we saw against City. Like, so again, even he is capable of being dangerous.
Well, also in a defense. I mean, in a defensive way, like he's good defensively as well. Like we saw him as a centre back in the Chelsea game.
I mean, so is Van Dijk.
He was taking risks, but they were calculated risks, and he paid off brilliantly. Like shut down Werner like none.
I just love the fact that every single one of our players seems to be capable of launching an attack from wherever they are. It's like they all seem to have that ability. I don't know if it's something we've been looking at. It's like, right, you know, we want you to play in this position, but also, are you capable of doing this?
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, like, obviously Thiago is, but then Jota, we've already seen his impact that he's had. The amount of chances he had last night, for a start. And then Tsimikas, again, we spoke about him before. He was constantly getting up the top of the field, putting in the crosses. So I don't know. I feel like it's maybe something that we're looking for in players now, which is a good thing.
I guess
because even like after the Premier League game, Arteta commented on that about Virgil. He was like, you know, you can sort of prep your team for anything, but when you've got someone like Virgil van Dijk who can ping a 60-yard cross down to Salah, it's like there's nothing you can do to train that.
And he does it consistently. It's not like he has a go and sometimes it works off. Like he's got a good eye for that.
He's good. He's a really good passer. I think that usually goes under the radar quite a lot. From Van Dijk especially
as a defender.
Yeah.
You forget that he's got other qualities as well.
Yeah. It is good, and not only gets stronger when you add in Thiago, in my opinion.
But yeah, so 2-1 half time. What were we thinking?
You know what, 2-1's always a bit nervy because you never know what's going to happen. And you feel like Arsenal they're playing away, and they were losing, so they would have had a team talk, and they knew they would have had to come out the second half, otherwise they're not going to get anything out of the game. So you know that Arsenal are going to have more chances, which is in turn, I guess it's sort of a knock-on effect because Arsenal, by playing more, will create more for Liverpool, but then Liverpool having more chances inadvertently also leaves Liverpool subject to being counter-attacked because Liverpool really like that high line.
They do, but the thing is, I feel like it works.
Well, it can be an offside trap.
The amount of offsides we
create.
What's the right word that I'm looking for? Create, is that?
That's the only one I can think.
Per game, I think, like I was looking yesterday, and I think it's like 3 point something. Like I want to say maybe it was 3.4 per 90. So like, and if you look at the amount of chances Arsenal had, shots on target 3, compared to our 8. Total shots 4 compared to our 21. I feel like we get away with it.
Oh yeah, I mean? For sure.
Like
yeah.
Sometimes it's dangerous. It looks dangerous. It feels dangerous, but actually, if you look at the average amount of shots or chances created that teams get in a game, if you look at that and say, well, 3 of them, the way we play, at least 3, possibly 4 a game are going to be offside. That's pretty good statistically. And especially with VAR now, you sort of can rely on the fact that even if it's a hair offside, it's going to get the right call. So I feel like it feels dangerous. And when it doesn't work out, like there were a couple of times where the ball went over the top to Lacazette and one of them was actually offside, it looks bad in the moment. You're like, oh, they've been caught out here. But like realistically, how often do they get caught out? How often is it non-offside? And if you sort of weigh that up, and then you've got the ability of Alisson, although it's not nice to have a one-on-one, I think it works for us. So as scary as it is, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, well, I thought, granted, based off the last game where I thought like Arsenal, basically, I feel like when they beat Liverpool at the end of last season, they basically didn't get a look in for the entire game, and 2 unbelievable, very, very uncharacteristic uncharacteristic mistakes by Alisson and Van Dijk gifted them 2 goals. And I feel like the goal in this game came from a very oh my god!
Are you okay?
Uncharacteristic mistake by Robbo. So even though I never like 2-1, I was feeling a bit more comfortable thinking, right, if we don't make a mistake, I feel like Arsenal are going to have very few chances for the rest of this game. And I feel because they only seem to be able to score from unbelievable mistakes rather than creating the chances themselves. So I feel like at that point I was like, I think Liverpool have got this.
Well, just quickly going back to that offside trap you kind of mentioned. I just want to pull up a stat that sort of reflects that. Like, Arsenal were given offside 5 times when we were never offside in that game. And I feel like if we couldn't play that risky, we wouldn't be playing it. So Klopp obviously knows, and obviously the lads know how to play that way.
It works. We were playing like that all last season and we won the league, so it definitely works. It's scary to watch it sometimes.
Scary to watch, but then even in that scenario, the goal they got from that was just a series of fortunate for them and unfortunate events for us. Like, he was offside in the first place and it just grazed past Van Dijk's foot, and then it just happened to slice Robbo's foot in the wrong way, and it just happened to fall to Lacazette, who just happened to hit it weirdly and it bounced over Alisson. Like, it was consistently just lucky opportunities that they got from that. Like, it wasn't the fact that we were playing too high of a line or anything.
I was reading yesterday, and I can't remember the number now. So apologies, I haven't got it. But Liverpool do play the highest line in the league.
Oh yeah,
that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
I mean, it's crazy sometimes. Gomez and Van Dijk are up at
the
halfway line.
I think yesterday, especially. I mean, we noticed that.
Sometimes
I remember seeing,
it looks like the break is on, and you look back and go, "Where's Liverpool?" just see Alisson he's the only Liverpool player in the half, and where are they?
But then you see people sprint back, and they somehow manage to get back there usually in time. Doesn't necessarily mean we save it, but
yeah. I'll come on. I was going to mention something about Nico Williams, but I'll come on to it when we cover last night.
Well, just to clarify your initial question, at the half-time mark, I felt a little bit pissed because I felt like we deserved. I think we had a bunch of chances that we didn't make true on, and I felt like we deserved more than 2. But I was also a little bit if we can get another one, that sealed it for me. I can relax at this point.
There was a chance when Trent hit the bar.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah,
it was a deflection, but that could have quite easily been a goal.
2 prominent chances I'm thinking of. I remember that was one of them. I can't remember what the other one was, but I was like, if we'd have just slotted at least one of them away, I'd be much more relaxed. I still wasn't that mad because I think theirs was pure luck and we already slotted 2, but to feel 100% comfortable, I would have liked to have another one. But yeah, unfortunately, couldn't. Not before half time, anyway.
Yeah, so second half, not really happened for quite a while. There was a substitution in the 80th minute, a double sub. But before that, I don't know, did you guys have any general thoughts about how it was going? I know it felt very in the balance. A couple of Lacazette's offsides.
Oh yeah, it was instead of the final 10 minutes heart attack, I felt like I had the final half of game heart attack.
Yeah. Again, though, even though it felt close, because it was only 2-1, I feel like it was a fairly comfortable win for Liverpool. The chances that Arsenal had were offside. I think Lacazette was offside twice, then he had one where he was onside, but Alisson saved it, and that was probably the best chance they had all game, because obviously the goal they scored, I can't even really call that a chance. It was a series of lucky events for Arsenal.
Didn't Ali save 2 of Lacazette's shot?
Yeah. One was offside, didn't need saving, but yeah, he saved it.
Yeah, well, that's what you've got to play when you're on the pitch, isn't it? You don't know if
I
it's
feel
off
like that honestly has an effect as well. It happened last night as well, with Adrian saving an offside shot. But I feel like, because obviously when that run Lacazette had when he wasn't offside and he just sort of plays the ball straight into Alisson. I feel like the attempt he had previous to that where he was offside and Alisson still saves it, I feel like that affects him because it's in their head then.
Oh, it's got to. Yeah, well, yeah, because like
even though they know, it's like I still didn't score.
Well, it builds their confidence because it's like even if it was offside, like I still saved it. Yeah, if it wasn't offside, then it wouldn't have still been a goal.
But
so it's
I'm not even talking about
just
Alisson
saved by offside.
building his confidence. I'm talking about to Lacazette because it's like here he comes again 1-on-1 with Alisson, and in the back of his mind he's thinking he saved it last time.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like it psychs him out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thinking outside the box here. I wonder if Alisson put himself in his own fantasy football team, and if you save an offside shot, does that count towards your save points?
I mean, I assume you probably can.
Actually, speaking of like offside stuff, I didn't find that till yesterday. Obviously, the offside rule is similar to how the Champions League worked last season now, but in the Premier League where whatever it is, if the player's offside, they don't raise the flag until the end of play. So they essentially let it go on. What I found out the other day was for example, Lacazette's run where he was offside, if he'd have struck that ball, Alisson had got a hand to it and it had gone out for a corner, they'd have received the corner even though the run was offside. So then...
That's stupid.
Imagine Arsenal then score from that corner. That's a goal that wouldn't have existed had the call just been given offside straight away.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me though. Like I get it for when it's like very like almost impossible to call with the naked eye and you want to go to VAR and check it, so you let it play out and then you go back. But like when something like some of Lacazette's runs there was so obviously offside, you were sort of just waiting for the flag, which obviously doesn't go up now to the end of play. But knowing that now, that like if it went out for a corner, they'd get the corner. It's like, what are you doing then? Just put the flag up when it's obviously offside. Just put the flag up.
Indeed you do.
God, that's slightly worrying, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people are going to benefit from that this season.
I mean, it'll be very controversial if someone got a goal from it.
Yeah, if someone shot, like, in a future game, not even just Liverpool one, if someone takes that type of shot that Lacazette had and they're good, like a goalkeeper saves it and it goes to a corner who then scores straight from that corner, it's almost as controversial as the really penalty after the full-time whistle.
Imagine. Don't worry, there's only one team that would ever be given a penalty after the full-time whistle.
No, surely not. No team can ever get that lucky.
Oh. Well.
Anyway.
Moving on. Double sub. Who came on?
So we had Naby Keita went off for James Milner.
Fine.
Classic little James Milkip. And Sadio Mane came off for Diego Jota. Now, ignoring Jota's performance, when that substitution happened, what were you thinking there?
Was it?
What
time was this? Sorry.
It was the 80th minute. It was still 2-1, and Sadio Mane was brought off for Diego Jota.
Well, I would say for the first sub, I thought, like, at that time, I'm sat there going, it's 2-1. Like, that is always the time where I'm going, right, we need to steady the ship. And if anyone can steady the ship, it's our Jamie boy. So it's always good to see him because, like, right, we need someone with a level head, not going to do anything too wild, going to help see this out. I'm like, yes, absolutely, love it. And then, to be fair, like, Mane, like, I was worried because, like, he got the goal, and I thought, like, Mane, I mean, after he calmed down and decided he wasn't a street fighter, he was, I feel like he was having an absolutely cracking game, Mane, for the most part. He was looking good.
He was decent, to be fair, I remember that.
And it was getting to the point where, again, maybe needed fresh legs, and I understood it because he was on a booking, and like I feel like he was one foul away from being sent off. I mean, if he got a red when they just needed to see out the final 10 minutes, it would be a bit of an F for I guess because he'd be banned for the Villa game then, wouldn't he? If he got a second yellow. So I guess it makes sense. I think it was probably more. I feel like if he wasn't booked, he probably would have stayed on potentially. I
think I was. Well, I was the same for for Milner. I think with our lineup that we had available on the bench, strictly talking midfield, I think that was the expected play in my head anyway. When Mane came off for Jota, I think I was just kind of like, I don't think I was necessarily worried. I don't think I was necessarily excited. I was just thinking, this is his time to see how he does in like a match. Like, I think before this, he'd only played in the Lincoln game for us, and I was like, well, this is time to see how he deals with like a Prem and like another Prem team. Obviously, he's played for Wolves, but for us specifically,
I mean,
so like, this is your chance. This was our chance to see what he had to offer us, basically. And I was kind of, in that way, I guess I was kind of excited to see what he could offer us.
I mean, to be fair, like,
I just thought it was an odd call. Like, it was still 2-1. The game still felt very much like in the balance. Arsenal was still getting chances, and then, if it had gone to 3-1, it would have relaxed everyone, I think. But like, the fact that it was still 2-1, and then you're taking off not only the goal scorer, but one of our most prolific goal scorers at that, for the new kid who previously had played about like 2 minutes in the Lincoln game, in a game against Arsenal, who are, to be fair, like elite Premier League opposition, and in a game that is still only 2-1, so still hanging in the balance with only 10 minutes remaining. It seemed like an odd decision to me. I know like the yellow card will have affected that heavily, the fact that it was Mane to come off.
Wait,
do you think without the yellow it would have been, you would have still made that change? Like, not necessarily Mane, but do you think you would have still put Jota on?
I wouldn't have made the change at 2-1 if Mane hadn't been booked.
No,
because I would have thought you need your strongest team, and especially because it's not even Mane's obvious goal scoring threat. He is so well versed now in the Liverpool way, and he knows about all the drills, about all the closing down, and like, I feel like when a lot of players come to Liverpool, that's something that's not necessarily known to a lot of players, because like a lot of teams don't have the strikers like press and close down as much as Klopp does. It's one of his main skill sets of how he has the entire team press the ball. So like, Klopp has his forward three work a lot harder than some teams do. So I mean, and sometimes that's why you don't necessarily sometimes see Klopp signings immediately, because it takes time for them to actually get into that mindset and that game mode. But yeah, so it was surprising. But
yeah, I was surprised by it, but at the same time, I was like, right, I get it, but let's see what he can do for us in an actual match now. And lo and behold, he showed up,
and then he came on.
And
to be fair,
I think even before that, though, he had some decent chances. He messed them up, but I think in the end,
I feel like he looked
3
quick.
chances total.
I feel like he looked quick.
Did, yeah.
He looked a threat. He was really giving it the Jiminy Beans down that left.
As aggressive as the rest of the team, to be fair. I know that's something a lot of other fans compliment Liverpool for, at least in this season since it's restarted, is that we look aggressive, and he gave me that idea that he was as aggressive as the rest of us.
Well, I think that is why we signed him. Apparently, does anyone know how old he is?
23.
I feel like he's 23.
Yeah.
He's 23, yeah. Apparently, his stats are, in terms of like XG and in terms of like chances per 90 and stuff like that, apparently they're almost a direct mirror image of Mane's stats when he joined Liverpool. So I think it's like literally, I think what they're hoping is he has essentially the same ceiling as Mane. So it's like, give him a few years at Liverpool, we're going to create another Sadio Mane out of this guy. And he certainly showed the signs of that. So it's definitely
he's still very, very young, and I guess also, I mean, it probably helped that the fact that he has got that experience, and Wolves have been a decent side in recent years. So I feel like at least he knows Arsenal, so he would have had a bit of an idea of what,
he's got experience against these teams.
Like,
it's
if
not
they
like
bought him,
blind...
if he'd never been in the Prem before and they just bought him from another club like in Europe, then maybe he might need it a bit longer.
This early,
no. But yeah, he had a few good chances. I feel like he was given one really, really good chance, and like I feel like everyone watching thought this has to be a goal, and then it went wide, and like no one could believe it.
Well, okay, so
that was when I was like, if that was Mane, that would have gone in. I was fuming.
That was his first chance. That was his first one, and it looked like it was going in, but then obviously it went wide. But I think it hit the other side of the net because I remember thinking it was originally it was a goal because I was about to celebrate and be like, oh, boy scored on. It's like one of his first few touches. Unfortunately, it was wide, but it still looked strong. It was a decent shot, and I think he was quite far away. So I'll give him credit for it.
I'm not giving him credit for it.
I think, like as you say, Mane definitely
get credit for missing.
Would have no, but I mean the chance in the first place. Considering we hadn't seen shots for a long time before that. I still think Mane would have had a better chance of scoring it, but, not a bad effort.
I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him, but Mane definitely would have scored.
Yeah. Another one of his chances I want to get into was I think, I can't remember the leader play up to this because it has been about a week now, but I remember somehow the ball landed in their box, and I think Salah was running to it, took a bit of a heavy touch, and it fell to Jota, but then Salah kept running. I think what Salah wanted to do was make the defenders think he was going to go for the ball. But Jota also got that idea, so he left it. But then Salah ran over it. And then they both just sort of turned around and looked at it and went, which one of us is going to take it? And none of them did and got cleared. So it was a bit unfortunate. But if either of them had either took the chance on that, I think it could have been a goal there from either of them.
I mean, I think what Salah wanted to do there was score a goal. I
think so, but I think the heavy touch changed that outcome though, because it was straight to Jota, and then I think he left it for him.
Basically, had Jota took that shot on, it was definitely an easier shot for Jota than it was for Salah.
Oh yeah.
But Salah just wanted it more. Is essentially what happened. Which, is like...
I mean, I feel like
good and bad.
It's often a criticism of Salah that he can be a bit selfish, but I mean, I feel like all the best strikers have a bit of a selfish way about them.
Messi does. Messi
and also
never gives up the ball. Ronaldo's the same.
And also, to be fair, Salah does. He just, I mean, like any good striker wants to score. I mean, like all the best strikers, like you don't pay about all the best strikers who constantly set up other people. All the best strikers want to score. And again, it's like what you said earlier. I mean, he's Liverpool's top goal scorer. Like, how many seasons running? Like, are you really going to question him? No,
I mean, I know we're only 3 games in, but he's also most shots registered in the league. So it's like, again, he's on track to do the same thing again. Again, shouldn't really be talking about it 3 games in, but like, yeah, the stats are there.
So I mean, I feel like
it's not a bad thing for strikers or even wingers to be selfish, but there just needs to be. And I might need to go and watch it again, but I think there just needs to be like an element of like, all right, this guy's got. And I'm not saying this was the case in this scenario because I don't know. I seem to think Salah was trying to trick the other team, and you obviously think different. But there needs to be an element of, all right, this guy's got an easier shot than me. He's a decent enough player. I'll get him.
Yeah,
I'll let him have it.
I mean, the other thing is, Diego Jota had just missed a clear chance that, again, had that been Mane, he would have put away. And you don't know if Salah's thinking in that moment, he's had one.
I mean,
go,
that's well, exactly. That's why I'm saying I'm
going to take this on.
That's why I'm not saying that's one of those moments, because I don't know what the plan was there. Because I seem to think that Salah was trying to leave it for him, but I'll have to go back and watch it.
Jota, again, has not been on the team that long. Like, it's a case of like, had that been Mane stood there, Salah probably would have had the confidence to say, yeah, Mane can take this on. But they've not trained together, I wouldn't imagine, very much, because Jota's not been there that long, and he just missed the chance. And Salah's probably thinking at that stage, well, I don't know that this guy can perform. Do you know what I mean? But I can, so I'm gonna take this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I think it might have just been a confusion. I'll have to go back and watch it to see if my opinion has changed or not. But I mean, even if I'm watching again, it's not to say that that's right.
We're at the 50 mark, so do you want to try and wrap this one up a bit so we have, I want to spend as little time on the cup game as possible.
Well, then we can leave that for the last 10 seconds, so that's fine.
We're going to glance over, don't we?
Yeah, nobody wants to talk about that. I want to say there's definitely things I want to touch on. There's definitely things I want to say, but right.
Well, then,
but anyway, so lo and behold,
88 minutes.
Jota gets a chance. Lo and behold, Jota takes his chance.
To some people, it's a slightly controversial chance.
Is it?
Yeah.
Was it?
In what way?
A lot of people wanted to claim it was a handball because it rolled up. He chipped it up and it hit his stomach/hand area. But to me, and I think to most people, it just looked like control.
I mean, I'm fairly certain it was checked.
I think it was checked. I think it was checked.
This,
but I think people. I think I remember seeing on Twitter a lot of people were just salty
honestly,
over it.
You gotta just ignore Twitter because people.
I do. I'm not bothered
it's
by
not
it.
even worth taking into consideration.
I'm just letting people. I'm just letting people know that people thought it was controversial. I'm not bothered. We still got a goal. And we still won. I don't give a shit if you think it was controversial.
Again, it was the ball was put in from Trent to basically no one because it was a clearance from I don't remember who it was, one of the Arsenal defenders, and it just dropped straight for Jota, who put it away. So it was a fairly fortunate chance, but he had to be there, he had to control it, and he had to place it. So he did well enough. He got a goal.
Absolutely delighted he got his goal made up for him. Yep. That will give him a hell of a lot of confidence, which is excellent. I mean, it's
a dream debut on it.
Hopefully it's good because Minamino got his goal against Arsenal. And now Josh has got his goal
bedding inside.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully we can play Arsenal again when Thiago's okay. So then he can get his goal. So then we all good. So yeah, I mean that at that point then that went in. The team loved it. Everyone went around. Everyone was made up for him, and everyone was also made up because that was the game set and done then. Well, apart from Taki getting 3 minutes, because or 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes to come on and show that he's there. That's okay.
Essentially waste time, but yeah.
So who was your man of the match?
Jake, do you want to go first?
Ooh, okay.
Because I feel like I know what it's going to be.
Mine? You think you know what mine's going to be? Who do you? I honestly don't know. I forgot we do this. I don't even know. Who do you think I was going to say?
forgot we do man of the match.
I mean, Craig, do you want to go then?
My personal man of the match, I wanted to give it to Salah.
Fair.
I feel like this season, granted, it's a few games in, it's very early days, but I feel like, I don't know, it's odd. It's like, I feel like in some ways, Salah's showing signs of a gear beyond what we've seen already, which is insane to think. But I feel like he's been incredible. He's looked so on it this season, and I felt like he was great. I mean, he was a huge part of the game, and I thought his performance was great. Obviously, I feel like Manny was really, really good, but he gets a few negative points for his early match brawling. So otherwise, I would have gave it to him. But yeah, that's my choice.
Yeah. I completely agree about the Salah thing, by the way. I was saying to Jake the other day, we were talking about Harvey Elliott, but it's the same thing. I'm one of those people that, especially when I feel like things are comfortable, I don't tend to watch the ball as much as I watch certain players, and I'm like, what is he actually doing? You know what I mean? When they're off the ball, what are they doing for the team, kind of thing. And this season, since the start of the season, Salah has been absolutely unbelievable. He's creating so many chances. He seems to be all over the place. I remember one instance in this game where Trent got caught out and Salah ran into the box to clear a ball and then straight back up the other end to get back into position. It's he just seems absolutely switched on at the moment. And yeah, I hope he keeps going like this because he's going to have an unbelievable season if he does. But I think I I would have gone with Trent for man of the match. I think he had a cracking game.
Okay.
Man, he put in so many quality balls, and again, I feel like he's been offered a little bit since the season started. I remember saying a few times, like, Trent seems to have had a poor game there. He doesn't seem to be on top of it. But this, for me, this was the game where it was like Trent's back. So I'm feeling good now. I feel like we're ready to go. We've got the boys back in town. But yeah, so I feel like I'll give my man of the match to Trent. Mane got it, by the way.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I was expecting Jake to go for Mane, which
they must have missed the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, honestly, Mane had an amazing game, and I would agree with Mane if not for the fact that to me that challenge at the start was a red to me, so that was worrying. But other than that, he had an amazing game.
If he didn't get yellow and he stayed on for the full 90, I probably would have been more swayed to give him man of the match. But because of that, I do have to take that away. Like, I don't want to always just go for people that score goals. And when I'm looking at the goal scorers, would I give them it compared to some of the others like Sadio Mane? No, he was a bit brutal at the start and picked up a yellow quite early on. Robertson obviously made an error. He did fix it, but he made an error initially. Jota took on a lot of chances that not really came from. I was thinking, granted he let one in, but Ali, he did do some decent saves and he did have a good attempt at that one that did go in. Or, as you've just said then, Trent, thinking back to what you've just said reminded me of how I was feeling during watching the game. It felt like it was normal Trent again, like he was running up the wing, crossing it a lot. And as you said then, Robbo's goal came from that. Jota's goal came from that. Granted, it wasn't an intentional one, but it still came from a Trent cross or clearance, whatever you want to call it. I just think he looked back to sort of prime, back on what he's praised so much for still now, and it's back to that. So I think I'm gonna have to go with Trent as well.
Fair play. Unlucky Manny. But he got the real one, so not that unlucky.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be sad to hear that he didn't get our man of the match.
Yeah. One day. One day it'll be a real award. It'll be a little fish on a stake. We can go to Anfield and hand it to them ourselves.
They'll get the actual man of the match. They'll get the match ball and they'll be like, yeah, but where's the fish steak award?
So, yeah, overall, I said earlier, but I feel like very comfortable for Liverpool. Felt in the balance at times, but actually when you go and look at the stats and the way the game was, half them chances were offside anyway. I feel like it was a comfortable win for Liverpool, a very comfortable win against Chelsea as well. I feel like
we got unlucky a lot, I think.
We're looking in top form, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, for sure. Also, just to clarify, sorry to any Blue fans out there, but that did in fact put us second in the league with that last Jota goal.
But Everton are still in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, moving on to the Carabao Cup.
They're also still in form. So,
last night we got knocked out by Arsenal.
Said team.
I said, do you want to? I'll tell you what. Should we have a soapbox moment? James, take the floor. Go for it. Say what you want.
Basically. I didn't know, right. Obviously, Klopp doesn't take these cups seriously, which is clear, has been clear the past couple of seasons, is still clear this season. I was hoping this season would be a little bit different. The signings we've made, Jota, granted Thiago's got the Rona, so he couldn't play anyway, but Minamino as well. Like, if you look at the players we've got available, I feel like we've got enough of a squad now that we can play strong teams in these cup games, and we're just not. Like, honestly, like the front three played was probably fine, but like the defensive line was a joke. Like, I don't even know who Reece Williams is, first of all.
Who are you?
but like he's not good enough to be playing Arsenal. Like, you want to play him against Lincoln, fine, but this was Arsenal. And Nico Williams as well. I'm comparing him to Trent, who is basically the best right back in the world, but like, he's not good enough at the moment, at least, to play the Liverpool way. I don't think he's fast enough. I don't think he's got the pace. there were a couple of ball, like Minamino was in space a few times when Nico had the ball, and I thought he could have put that over the top. If that was Trent, he would have done, and Minamino was in there. He didn't. He just doesn't think quite as quick yet, at least. But he doesn't run as fast either. I think he's constantly getting caught out, going backwards. And granted, it ended a 0-0 game, but Arsenal didn't put a strong squad on either. And then we went out on penalties, which sucks. But like overall, I think we absolutely had the team to go and win that. Like we could have and should have put a stronger team out. And we absolutely should still be in this cup. And it just annoys me that Klopp clearly doesn't take these things seriously. And, you know, he better go and win us a trophy this year. It better be the Champions League or the Premier League. Because if he's just going to half-arse these cups, then I expect big things from, like, I hope he knows what he's doing, essentially. But yeah, overall, like, it's not the end of the world. It's a Carabao Cup. Who cares? But I kind of do care a little bit that we're out of it again. So... And again, I said to you guys, like, it's this year because of the Rona. The semi-final's only one leg. If we'd have got through, we'd have been in the quarter-final. So, you know, we were 3 games away from a cup final there, which would have been nice. But it is what it is, well. So that's my stance on it anyway. Craig, I don't know if you've got something to say.
I completely agree. I thought signings have been made. Now is the time to, like, put the stamp on, like, this team is still here, this team is going to do things, we are going to keep going, we can compete, we have the players and to be able to compete on more fronts. I've always been annoyed at some of the teams he's put out in these games, especially with Arsenal, because I felt like he was very, very fortunate with the team he put out against Everton, which was a miraculous 1-0 win last year, which was hilarious, but also I was very annoyed at that team too at the time. And I agree, I really wanted them to go for one of these cups this year. So when I saw the team, I thought, oh, great, there's a few. I mean, if you look at the team there, there's Van Dijk and Salah would start a typical game. Otherwise, no. And, like, defence, like, Milner, like, approaching 35, playing left back. Both the Williams. It's just like midfield was a major concern for me because I mean Jones is a talent. Jones is going to be a really good player, and he's already a good player. But I mean, he's very, very young, and Jones I never had to say Gruich. Who I think is okay, but then like him, like, apart from like the cup, I can't think of the last time I saw him play for Liverpool. And then Wilson. Check the history books for the last time he played for Liverpool. But I was just
I think that was like, Harry Wilson's first senior appearance.
I saw that midfield and I thought, what are you doing? I'm sat there going, just like, I was just like, yeah, I know. I mean, they're okay players. I mean, Wilson's had some decent loan spells, and Jones is a good player. But I'm like, that's not a midfield. I was annoyed, and then it really summed up his thoughts on his situation of the cup when it's 0-0, had a handful of great chances that they just couldn't take, and then instead of going for it, takes off the 2 senior players, well, the 2 starting players, Van Dijk and Salah, for Gomez and Origi. Later on, I mean, at that point, when that substitution was made 60 minutes in, that's to me, that was Klopp saying, I don't care what happens in this game. And then,
yep.
And I feel like the cherry on the cake was Jota, who looked the biggest threat all game, got taken off for Wijnaldum. You're taking off a striker to put on a midfield. Like, what do you want to do? See this 0-0 out in a knockout competition? I was just like, what are you doing? That well and truly baffled me. And I thought, if Wijnaldum was coming on, I thought maybe he can come on. And I thought if he came on for anyone, it should have been Wilson, who I don't think was really present for most of the game. And ultimately, Wilson, that cost us the game in a way. So, what a move that was. And
Origi, actually, who was another sub that I brought on.
Origi came on, did absolutely nothing, unfortunately. He wasn't present at all, really. Like, for the time he was on the pitch, and then wasn't a great penalty. So, yeah. I mean, I guess Klopp ultimately got his wish. He didn't really want to be in the cup, which showed, and now they're not in it. So I seriously hope he takes the FA Cup a bit more seriously, because
Yeah, but he doesn't though.
wait, like you're not telling me that's the strongest team you could have put out. And if you put out any a stronger team than that, everyone would have been knackered come the Villa game Sunday night, because that's a lie. Like, these are trained professional athletes. Like, there's no way you're telling me Salah or Van Dijk could have managed. Like, if I play another 30 minutes of football, that's it. I'm KO'd. It's just not the case. Because it was going straight to penalties. It's not like they had to worry about them playing through extra time.
No.
So he should have gone for it. And to me, all his substitutions said to me he doesn't want to go for it. So yeah, I'm done. Jake.
All right, I'm kind of mixed on this. I'm not sure where I stand really. I'm annoyed because I agree with you guys. Like, we could have put out a stronger team for sure. And I'll touch more on the subject a little bit later on as well, because it sort of links into our next game. But also, like, I think what Klopp was doing for this game was kind of testing, because the transfer window was still open. Granted, with not like a few days left, I think he was kind of seeing what abilities people had in our team, and this was his opportunity to decide who's going on loan, who's getting sold, who's staying with the team, blah blah blah. And I think that's why he's playing all these people with like either never played before or never heard of, like Reece Williams, Wilson. It was his first senior appearance. Gruick, who's not played for us for like 3 years, and I think he's like testing like their ability and how they fit in with our team currently as much as we can, and that's gonna make his like decision on who's to loan out, who to sell, who to keep, and whatnot, blah blah blah. And although we lost, granted on penalties, and granted it was 0-0 when it went to penalties, I do think, again, we got very unlucky. That's not justifying the performance. We, as a team, especially the initial team that we put out, should have definitely got goals from it. I'm just saying that we did get unlucky. We shouldn't have to get unlucky. Like, the quality of team that we have, we shouldn't be able to, or we shouldn't have to say we just got unlucky. We should say we got unlucky, we should have got more. Like, it shouldn't have been 0-0. It should have been like, if we're saying we're unlucky, it should have still been a win to us. But we just got unlucky that it wasn't by more. But back to my point about like why we could have put out a strong team. My annoyance with that is because like if we were resting up people like Salah, Van Dijk, and all that, we took them off to rest them up for the next game. Like, I don't want to underestimate any teams or anything like that, but there's a clear difference between a team like Villa and a team like Man City. Like, I don't think, as Craig said, an extra half an hour on the pitch, would have affected them in a game against Villa. I mean, I'd argue that it wouldn't for a lot of other teams as well, but, especially Villa. So, that's what my annoyance is. It would have been nice to have some silverware, in the middle of the season anyway, but
I could say
I kind of get why. I think I know why he's doing it, and I also... It still annoys me that we didn't go for it, because we definitely could have put out a stronger team. And I wish we could have just done some like testing with some other, pre-seasons or something like that. So that's kind of my opinion on it.
Well, based off all of that, I feel like obviously those decisions were made with the Aston Villa game in mind. So now Liverpool are out the cup, and they obviously rested a lot of people in mind for the Villa game, so I'm expecting obviously a full strength team for the Villa game and one hell of a performance, because otherwise I think Mr. Klopp could end up with a fair bit of egg on his face if he decided to rest players and go out of a cup for the Villa game to then not perform in the Villa game, which is, I think it's actually like late kickoff Sunday, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, 7 o'clock is it Sunday?
I think so. I'll check. Continue talking. I'll check.
So, I mean, if we want to look, what did I say? Like, Villa have been, I think Villa have been all right.
7:15.
Villa have had a
last
very
game
good
before the
start to
break
this
as well.
season.
Yeah, it's been yeah, they've had decent starts. I wouldn't say they've had any. I mean, a real test of opposition so far, but they have had.
They've
They've
only played 2 games as well.
But they have had a good
which
start.
was Sheffield United and Fulham. They beat
Mm-hmm.
Sheffield 1-0 and they beat Fulham 3-0. But Fulham are
And
arguably the
I
worst
don't know the
team in the league at the
details.
moment.
I don't know the details well, but Sheffield do have a red card. I don't know if that was late on in the game or quite early on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose they're okay. I don't expect it to be straightforward, but I mean, again, this is coming from the team which just absolutely walked the league, basically. So I mean, they should be beating Aston Villa away.
I mean, we had Aston Villa away last season was very, very. Am I right in saying Villa went 1-0 up and we had 2 late goals?
It was 1-0 for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then I think Robbo scored maybe like the 87th minute. And then I think Mane scored in like something like the 91st or something minute or something mad like that. So they were behind in the Aston Villa game for the longest time.
So yeah, I'm not. Who knows? Honestly, it's mad because Villa seem to be a different team. Granted, they've only played 2 games, but they've had a solid start to the season. But again, it's only Fulham and it's only Sheffield. Then, we had a tough time against them last season when we really shouldn't have done. So I don't know how it's going to go, to be honest. But I certainly expect to win it.
I believe Henderson's back in training, but there's going to be a late check on his availability for the game. So hopefully at least he'll make the bench. I feel like if he could make the bench, Henderson would want to start, but wait and see what happens.
Yep.
Regarding teams, I feel like it's going to be same as the Arsenal League game.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's going to be any changes there. Fully expect probably Jota to be on the bench. Minamino will probably be on the bench, but I said he did play the full game, so I'm not expecting a particular game plan for him to have much time. I feel like if anyone would come on, it would probably be Jota ahead of him.
So, in terms of just writing down these predictions for next episode, do you expect Henderson to play, or do you think it's going to be the same team and he's just going to be on the bench?
Okay, I'll go midfield of Fabinho, Henderson, Naby, because he was rested. So I feel like he wouldn't have been rested if he wasn't going to play.
Okay. Do you think anything different, James? Do you think he's going to play? Do you think he's not going to play?
I think he probably won't play.
So you think it's going to be the exact same lineup as Arsenal?
Yeah, I think it'll be the same lineup as Arsenal. I hope he does play, but I think with it being only Aston Villa, if there's a slight issue, I mean, he's obviously not 100% right now because they want to check him again. So I feel like if there's anything at all, he'll sit this one out. But he'll be back for...
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think if there is even the slightest inkling that he's still injured, they'll play him, because I think the injury he's got now is from the injury from last season. So I think they don't want to keep trying to play him too early when he's ready for. Keep getting him injured, so I think they're going to sit him out for as long as he needs this current period. So I think it is going to be the exact same team as Arsenal.
Yeah. Score prediction for me, I'm going to say 3-0 to Liverpool. Despite everything I've just said, I'm going 3-0.
Okay.
I'm going to say 2 for Salah and 1 for Mane.
Okay. Craig?
Liverpool. Oh God, I hate predicting a Liverpool win because I feel like it's my fault.
I feel like you're jinxing it.
But I'm going to say Liverpool 3-2. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I think it's going to be a cracker. This one it turns out to be 0-0. It's going to be 3-2. Who's going to score them goals? I'm going to go Salah hat-trick.
Okay. Now, I also opted for a clean sheet, but I said 2-0.
Okay.
And I reckon it's going to be Salah and Mane.
Okay.
So same order as James, but I'm just thinking the second one's going to be Mane, and that's going to be that.
Okay. So no chance of us like getting a penalty and then deciding Alisson needs a goal.
This isn't FIFA stakes.
Ask me in March.
Right, Jake. Note that down. We'll revisit this in March. Okay.
Revisit in March. Got it down, boys. Don't worry.
Does Alisson need a goal? Okay, there we go. Right. Okay.
Well, that should wrap us up nicely then.
So, if you're listening to this right now, expect our thoughts on the Villa game very soon.
Mm.
Yep.
Which then follows an international break when I think Liverpool play 3 games. So obviously we'll be keeping an eye to see how the boys do, and across all the countries playing, because some of the teams will be scattered far and wide.
Absolutely.
Just hopefully no injuries. Maybe a few Liverpool goals would be nice, and come back nice and refreshed, ready for the derby.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Gonna be a big one.
It's gonna be a big one, but we've got to get past
Also,
Villa
just
first.
to clarify, any other related matches that might happen in the meantime, we will cover in, big matches. So we won't just do. You've probably figured this out already. We won't just do one after each match in particular anymore.
Yeah, I mentioned this in the first one.
Okay, well, yeah. Basically, it's just we'll compile them into the next big match.
Yeah.
So
Derby's a big match.
The derby's a huge match. It's gonna be awesome.
Gotta get through the Villa one first, guys. Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gotta get
we'll talk about that next episode.
One game at a time.
Exactly.
We'll see you for our thoughts on Villa next time. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Janet.